What's up, dreamers, and welcome to another episode of Helpful Dreams. This is where we discuss the most life-changing concepts of all time from all of the best mentors of all time. Today, we're going to be discussing one of the key epiphanies that I took away from Jim Rohn's teaching, and that is taking action when the idea is hot. I know a lot of people may disagree with this, but one thing that is for sure is that success takes more than just positive thinking. If we're going to create any substantial change in our lives, it's going to come down to positive thinking to get the ball rolling. But ultimately, we're going to have to put one foot in front of the other and begin to take action. Jim Rohn's sound philosophy on taking action is super motivating, and that's why I continue to go back and listen to his teachings. He explains that we must act when the idea is hot and the emotion is strong. Now, he stresses to not take hasty action if it isn't required, but ultimately we need to start taking action on an idea when we first come up with it because of the law of diminishing intent. The law of diminishing intent means that when we first think of an idea and we're excited about it, we must act on that emotion and act on that energy in order to create momentum to actually carry us through the process. If we leave our ideas on the back burner, our intent decreases because the emotion dissipates. A good example of this is that this past weekend, me and my son sat down to play board games, and we started thinking about how cool it would be to actually develop a board game. And we looked at these other board games and we figured if these people can do it, then there's probably a process out there in place to somewhat follow in order to develop your own game. And I knew that we were excited about it, and I really want to teach him to take action right away. And so we dove right into it, and within a day, we actually had a prototyped game that we were playing by the end of the day. It was a really fun experience, and we used the excitement and energy from the initial idea to carry us through the objectives and even through some of the difficult parts of the process. I did this to set an example of how taking action on an idea in the beginning phases can carry you through to see an idea to fruition faster than you could even imagine.
Develop the ability to act, take action. Not hasty if it isn't required, but don't lose much time. Here's the time to act. When the idea is hot and the emotion is strong. That's the time to act. You say, Mr. Rohn, I'd like to have a library like yours. See, if you feel strong about that, what you got to do is get the first book and then get the second book. Before the feeling passes and before the idea gets dim, action pronto, action immediate, action as soon as possible.
One of the main things that keeps us from taking action and procrastinating is not knowing the proper process to get us from point A to point B. So if you find yourself in a state of procrastination where you're not getting what you want done, first look at what steps you can map out in order to take you to your objective. Map out how you can get from point A to point B, and then begin to just take the small steps. It's easier. To look at things when it's put into bite-sized steps. After mapping out the plans of your process, the next step is to take the first step and act. It's really important then to not give up and push through any difficulty that'll arise, because you're gonna immediately come up against challenges as you go through your process. It's important to maybe take time to take a break and reflect But don't stay too long in this reflection phase, and step right into the next step and keep trying until you get it done. The next step of the process, once you begin to take action and you start moving through your difficulties and getting things done, is to make sure that the job is done right. It's important that as we move through the action process, that we quality check our work and we make sure that we're not giving it half of our effort. We need to give it our all, make sure that the job is done right no matter how small the step is, and your ultimate goal will come to fruition. This concludes our tidbit of knowledge, wisdom, and motivation for today. I hope that if you're currently in a state of procrastination, that you can at least commit to looking at the information. That is out there about your overall goal and objective, and begin to map out the small steps that will take you there. You'll be surprised at how that gives you a new perspective and brings energy and momentum into your life. Try to map out the next 2 weeks out of steps that you could take one at a time that would put you in a better place than you are right now. Remember that small steps all compound on each other and create the bigger picture. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you like this type of knowledge and wisdom, please subscribe. It helps get the message out to more people. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.
You intend to when the emotion is high. But now if you don't translate that into action fairly soon, now the intent starts to diminish. And a month from now, it's cold. A year from now, can't be found. So act. Set up a discipline when the emotions are high and the idea is strong and clear and powerful. That's the time to set up the discipline. Somebody talks about good health and you're stirred. Say, right, I need to get a book on nutrition. Get the book before the idea passes and before the emotion gets cold. Go for the book. Start the library. Start the process.